So we've got quite a jam-packed show for you today. I had to recover after the sporting weekend from a South African standpoint. There were a hell of a lot of losses that I had to face, um, from the Springboks to the Proteas to Driekus du Plessis to Manchester United, and it was quite a hectic weekend for me. And I couldn't just get myself to come here and talk to you guys and find time to speak to you guys after the match. So I'm going to be doing a combined show, a review of the T20s, what we've learned from that 2-1 defeat to Australia. And then we're going to listen to Coach Shukri's press conference and what he had to say after the match. And then we're going to preview the ODIs against Australia, because this is now a different team, different format that we're going to have to discuss. So there's a lot to get to into, because we're going to also listen to Bavuma's press conference as well. So there's a lot of things that we have to discuss going into this particular show. So let's get into it, because I want to get into it and get started with it. There's a lot for us to get into. There's a lot for us to discuss on today's show. But before we get going, before we get started, there's a couple of things I'd like you guys to please do. First and foremost, I would like you guys to please subscribe to this channel, click that notification bell for all future videos, please. Very important that you guys do so. Smash the like button and share, but also don't forget to comment in the comment section after we've gone and ended the stream, because it's very important that you guys do so and interact with the videos after the stream has ended, so that we can get into recommended feeds. So get involved with that as well on the YouTube channel. But without further ado, let's get straight into today's show, because I am really looking forward to discussing everything with you guys and speaking about the ODIs, because I also like this format and I enjoy it because it's a little longer. But in recent times, it has been quite tedious, but I'm enjoying it because we get to see players have a little bit more time at the crease. And particularly for the younger guys, they can really implement their strategies and they can really show their ability. So I'm looking forward to discussing all of this with you guys. Let's get into it. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your live cricket show, I would say. I'm your host, Khalid Moeddin, and this is going to be a combined show where we discuss the T20 defeat, the series defeat to Australia, but we're also going to be previewing the ODIs against Australia as well, which starts tomorrow, 6:30 in the morning for South African Standard Time and for South African viewers. So let's get into it first and foremost, this T20 series. Did we learn enough from the series? I think we did. And here is why. I think that we learned a lot about our younger cricketers. That was a very positive thing for me, to see our younger cricketers get game time and to play with the freedom that they did. Particularly Dewald Brevis coming to the party and showing his ability. I think that the captaincy from Aiden Markram was good, but his ability with the bat wasn't. Now I'm going to be a little bit lenient here, because I did defend players in the past when they were moved out of position and had to play in positions that they haven't necessarily played in for quite some time. Now, Markram was moved to 3-4-5 position for the Proteas, and also for his T20 sides that he plays for IPL and the SA20. He was moved down the order to occupy that middle batting order, right? To keep gel that batting unit together. So moving back to us as an opener, which I feel is the most difficult task. opening and a finishing role in T20 cricket is probably the hardest roles as a batter, in my opinion. Now he's moved out to the top of the order. He has a new partner and he's captain. So I think that we need to be a little bit patient with him when it comes to his transition as an opener in T20 cricket now. Yes, he's been an opener majority of his life and opened the batting in all formats for the Titans, and in previously he opened the batting for South Africa too, but a very long time ago. So I think it's time we need to be a little bit patient with this new position that he's now occupying. And we also need to be patient with the relationship that he's trying to build with Ryan Rickleton. So all of these things we need to take into account, I feel. So I'm going to be a little bit defensive from a Aiden Markram point of view. I think we need to be a little patient. We've got a lot of games until the World Cup. If we go into another three series and he's still struggling and he's still not scoring runs, then I think we need to start having conversations of whether we should move him back to where he was before and maybe move another person up the order, or other discussions as well, which people want to discuss, because there's a lot of fans out there that are talking about maybe dropping Markram, which I don't think is the right thing to do so soon into this new era with undercoach Shukri. I feel that all players should be getting a little bit of a second chance in a way. Now that there's a new regime, a new approach, a new culture, and everything. So that's where I stand with Aiden Markram. Luandre Pretorius, I think we need to be patient with as well. It was bound to happen that he was going to dip in form because he is a youngster and he's been in incredible form since he's come onto the scene, since the under 19 World Cup, right into domestic cricket, straight into the SA20, etc. He's been scoring a hell of a lot of runs in a short space of time. And also, that means that we need to be patient with him when he does dip in form. I don't like the negativity around players when they do go off form, because we're talking about cricket here. We're not talking about football or rugby. Form is something that happens in cricket. Falling out of form happens a lot more in cricket than than being in great form. And if players are losing their wickets with the right approach, I think that we should be fine with that, right? Now, when we're talking about players that are maybe losing their wickets or going out playing and looking and not looking like themselves, that's when we need to have a little bit of a worry. And that's where it comes in with Tristan Stubbs. Now, there is some sort of defense I have where Tristan Stubbs was playing like almost as a supporting role to the in-batter, Deva Brevis at the time. Deva Brevis had two amazing last matches where he was in complete control and he was batting with freedom and he was striking the ball brilliantly. So I kind of understood and respected that Tristan Stubbs maybe took a back seat and didn't try to hog the spotlight and allowed Deva Brevis to face majority of the balls. But what that ended up happening is he looked like he got a bit bogged down and he's not necessarily looking completely like himself. So that was a bit of an issue that I had with regards to that. Is that I would like to see Tristan Stubbs come into his own and play with that freedom that we know he can. And I think with time, he will be back again and show South Africa and be the main guy for South Africa in that middle order. So I'm all about thinking that this game went to the wire at the end of the day. They won with a ball to spare. So it's not like we got slaughtered by Australia. I don't see it like that, because even Australia's batters, not all of them performed. It took one or two guys to really step up, just like with South Africa. It took one or two guys to step up to win us that second game. So in both games for Australia, they also needed one guy to take them out of trouble. There are some concerns over the bowling, however. I don't like how many extras we bowling, etc. And I do feel in the match there we did really, really well to stay in the game, because I don't think that 173 was like an amazing total necessarily. But I do feel that some guys really performed well. Like I think I'm enjoying what I'm seeing with the ball with Sinner and Mutasami, and I'm enjoying what I'm seeing, what I've saw with Corbin Bosch at the death. He's been brilliant. Penultimate overs, um, and um, the final overs, um, he was really good at the death. So I think that's very important from a South African standpoint. Just give me 2 seconds here, guys. Um, yeah, so that over from KG where he bowled the ball directly over the head of the bowler, etc. I think that last that I know it was due and all of that, and the ball was wet and it slipped out of his hand, but that over kind of lost us the game, I would say, in a way. Not only that over, but it had a big part to play. And I felt that he wasn't bowling the right line on lengths, and he wasn't taking the right approach, because he should have learned from Corbin Bosch's over before that you just bowl quick and fast at the stumps, aim it at the stumps. And that's how Corbin Bosch bowled, and that's how he got his success. And he brought South Africa back into the match, and then that over from KG really put the ball back into Australia's. It made it Australia's game again. So I'm disappointed about the loss, and I was a little bit sad about the loss. And it's not nice to always to lose to Australia. It's terrible, and especially with Glenn Maxwell winning the game for them, that disappointed me, because I'm not a big Glenn Maxwell fan. So it wasn't really great to see him being the one to take them over the line. But I think we're on the right track. And that's the most important part, is that there were a lot of positives to take from the series that we can be hopeful for and that we can be positive about. But at the end of the day, it's not only about my opinion, it's also about what Coach Shukri had to say. So let's hear his view, and let's hear what his thought process was about this particular series and what he felt after this defeat.
Shukri, a few series in charge of the white ball sides now. Obviously not the result you wanted tonight, but are you happy with the progress that your squad's made?
Yeah, obviously disappointing, the result. What was it, a few weeks ago in Zim as well? We played New Zealand in the final. A game we should have won going into the last over, so that result didn't go our way. But yeah, in and amongst all of that, I'm really happy with the growth. I'm happy with the progress that's being made. You can see the guys that have been playing, and you can see the guys that have come off a bit of a sabbatical. Just a little bit of rustiness and that. But to answer the question, yes, I'm happy with how we're shaping up. We've got 14 T20s before the World Cup. So yeah, all's good, and we'll keep building on that.
So he's actually hinting there that perhaps the time off and the sabbatical and the rest for Stubbsy, Aiden, I'm assuming, that you could see that some of the guys are still a bit rusty and they need to get in that groove and that momentum going. Could make sense, ultimately, if that is the case. But I expect better always from our senior players. You know that. I always say that. I try to always hold them accountable.
Sure. Your desire to have all-rounders in Test cricket is, obviously, you've always been honest about that. So something I was surprised to see you pick a team, if you in fact picked it, with KG at 8 and 4 sort of specialist bowlers in the last game. Is it different formats for different approaches? Are you like, do you specialists in place in T20?
Yeah, I think they are specialists. They're definitely a place for specialists. We're also missing 2 big players, an all-rounder in Marco, and then obviously a top batter in David. So, but I also think, Manners, it's about having a look at a few other guys, how we shape up. KG at 8, I don't think his strike rate is too bad at batting at 8. I think if you look at averages, how many balls and number 7 faces and how many balls and number 8 faces, it's minimal. I think average number 7 faces 8 or 9 balls. So it's hard to maximize that. And I think if we want to be brave, we've got to select attacks to beat a team like Australia. I felt that was always the big thing for me. And if I can nudge a batting unit into playing a certain way where we are better light, and I concede we are better light. Imagine what they can do when we've got a properly balanced side. So it's all part of the slightly longer term plan. But yeah, I don't think I'm like crazy about finding all rounders in T20. Your top 6 will be your best batters. Number 7, 8 possibly all rounders. So yeah, nothing untoward. You look at the Aussie side, not that we want to compare. Also, guys like Maxi and those that walk in at 6 and 7, they're key components of their bowling unit. So, but again, to answer your question, no, I'm not obsessed with all rounders in T20 cricket. I can guarantee you that.
Okay, so that's a good thing. Coach Shukri is not obsessed with all rounders in T20 cricket. Now, that's a very big statement to understand on the future, because he gave us an indication there that Marco comes back and David comes back, and this team looks a lot stronger with those 2 players coming back. So we can get an understanding of how things are shaping up. So those are things that we need to take into consideration as well.
Thanks. Oh, yeah. Yeah, go.
You may have seen, I suppose, potentially a new star being born in the World Brevis. What did you make of obviously his performance the other night, the century, and then today obviously still a solid half century?
Yeah, and I mean, I heard Aiden say now he's only 22. I hope he's obviously going to grow older, but I hope he continues to play like a 22-year-old. I think sometimes with experience, guys tend to adjust the way they play. But yeah, he's a breath of fresh air. He's probably nailed down. He has nailed down that spot as he's going forward. And I'm sure he'll spur on guys in the side to take on things a bit earlier as well. But yeah, he's a special talent. I mean, I went out on a limb the other night saying he's a generational talent. I certainly think in this format he is.
Wow. Big statement from Coach Shukri that he believes that Deva Brevis in this format is a generational talent, and we could see how great he is, and he nailed down his spot, so that's a good thing. So we are getting gems out of this particular press, so we now understand where Coach Shukri's head is at when it comes to the T20 format.
With 10 balls left, to kind of look like maybe down to the count at that point. Were you really pleased to see the boys kind of fight back and give themselves a chance?
And this is what we always wanting to achieve. We want to see a fight right to the end. We don't want guys to throw in the towel at any stage. The side mustn't know when they beat. All of the cliches. But yes, really, really pleased with the way we stuck at it. And then, yeah, look, I mean, to say we got the rot end of the conditions probably a little bit sounds like an excuse. But look, the ball was getting really wet. If you said to me that one of the world's best bowlers, Kagiso Rabada, was going to bowl a beamer like that and the free goes for 6, I'd never believe you, you know. So little small margins, disappointing again, the result. But I sit here really confident and comfortable with what's transpired in these 3 matches.
Yeah, like I said always in the past, there's ways to lose as well, you know. Like if you get completely destroyed and dominated, that's a different story. But we fought until the end. Those are good signs of building a championship type of team with the right mentality. So as long as I'm happy with certain, yes, I'm sad and disappointed with the defeat, but I like the way we fought, and I like the way we never gave up. We still tried to win, and we took the Aussies. We gave a fight to the Aussies. We didn't allow them to just roll us over. So those are all good signs as we build. Because remember, we are building towards that T20 World Cup now. Because Coach Shukri came in with only a year left before the T20 World Cup, really. He's only playing his first couple of games with a year out to the World Cup. So it's a very difficult task, but he's going to need to find ways on how to build that ethos and culture and mentality. And I saw signs of it against this Australian side. This Australian side is a lot more familiar and with each other, and a lot more settled as a unit than the South African team, I feel.
Maxwell obviously did what Maxwell can do tonight. How do you sort of analyse that innings, and was there anything you would have maybe done differently if you had the time again?
Yeah, again, I mean, I chatted briefly to Aiden. You always felt that, and again, towards the end there, Lungi's an expert at bowling slower balls, but the ball got so wet that he couldn't really, you know, so he went for the hole. And again, Maxi doing Maxi things. If you miss by a little bit, he does what he does, So very difficult to cover all those bases. I don't think we do too many things differently. At the end of the day, it comes to how you execute under pressure. It might have been slightly different with a drier ball, but yeah, this is not an excuse, and this is certainly not taking anything away from the way Maxwell plays. He bosses the game. There's no doubt as to who's in charge and turning down singles. We might have felt, yes, he kept us in the game, which he did, but he backs himself, and I guess that's what makes them a successful T20 or international team, all formats.
Obviously shifting formats very quickly now into the one day. Is there kind of a mental reset that goes into that, or how do you guys kind of get ready for the next game?
No, I don't think there's too much of a mental reset. I think the formats are so close together. But we've got 5 guys fly in a couple of days ago. I had a couple of net practices. Some different leader in Temba, another all-rounder in Bian, so different Keshav as champion spinner still. So I don't think there's too much of a reset. You just got more time to score more runs and take more wickets type of thing, But the intensity with which you play, I don't think that changes at all.
Okay, that's good.
Aiden said yesterday that you've been saying a lot to unlock the players' state of genius. What does that mean?
I just think that sometimes we can be too humble, we don't show off to the world enough what we're capable of doing. A bit like Brevis. I think and this has got nothing to do with the way Australia plays, but I mean, they've got a blueprint as to how they want to play. There are times when it looks absolutely brilliant and it's box office stuff, and there are times where you can have them in trouble like we had them in the first couple of games, but they stay true to it. What does it mean for us? I think guys like, and especially in the batting front, it's easier on the batting front, guys like Stubbs and Ricks and these guys, Aiden himself, there's so much that they can do, but because I feel that they've maybe boxed themselves in a little bit too much. I mean, I know it's a different format, but test final not so long ago, Aiden showed exactly what he's about. And I'm sure a couple of games away from unlocking that state of genius. It's not always going to result in winning, but I just want us to show off a bit more.
Have you had now assessed the players and start seeing?
Guys, sorry.
Have
That was a very important point that he made there, because he's spot on. And I feel that that's exactly the case here. I feel like our players are boxing themselves in a bit. They need to play with that freedom, that same type of carefree confidence that Deva Brevis has. These players like Aiden and Rickleton and Stubbs need to show the same. And if they do, you know how dangerous our batting lineup is going to be. I do feel that they played within themselves a bit. And I think Aiden did try. I think Rickleton has, when he feels that he's not hitting the ball well and he's not confident, I do feel he goes a little bit into his shell and bats a little slower. And Stubbs similarly. So they need a couple of games. Let's give them a couple of series for them to get it right before we start heavily criticizing this unit, because I think we're building a very dangerous T20 setup or T20 squad here.
I don't know if you have a chance or will get a chance to, I don't know, go to the ocean, see a bit of the reef or do something while you're in this part of the world.
Man, as you know, I live in Cape Town. I get to see a lot of it. It's a special place. Cairns beautiful. I think the guys have got a few things planned, yes. I think tomorrow might be one of it. So we've given pretty much everyone off. I think the coaches need a bit of a break as well. But yeah, it's certainly a place worth seeing. And I'm sure we'll get to. And that's part of touring great places like this. I mean, even the Aussies don't come here often. And it's just wonderful to see. Darwin was great, Cairns, and then that's part of touring. Obviously, you want to play winning cricket, but you also want to soak up the culture and experience the wonderful sights there on offer as well.
Okay, guys, I'm on the same page as Coach Shukri. I don't know if you guys are, but I agree with a hell of a lot that he said there. And I'm happy with the progress. I'm not happy with the defeat, of course. It sucks to lose to Australia, but I think that the team is in the right direction and we'll get it right soon. I just think that this unit needs to play more together. Add David to the mix, add Marco to the mix, and I think we look like a very, very, very dangerous side. Okay, so let's now move on. We've got a quick preview to do on the ODIs. So, let's get it right. Cool. We've got the ODIs to discuss on the I'm tired now. On the starting tomorrow. Okay, so this is the squad for you guys. If you don't know, what is happening? There we go. So we've got the ODI squad here, and there has been one name that has been added to this mix. Hope you guys can see that. So we've got Themba Bavuma as captain. We've got Matthew Bretsky, Deva Brevis, Tony De Zorzi, Aiden Markram, Luandre Pretorius, Ryan Rickleton, Tristan Stubbs. So it's pretty much a very similar side to the T20s, just with the additions of Matthew Bretsky and Tony De Zorzi in the mix here. And Themba, of course, as captain. Then we've got Keshaf and Prinal Zubrayan as the two spinners. So we've got an off spinner there, and we've got a left arm spinner as well. Then in the all-rounder department, you've got Corbin Bosch, Shinera Mutusani, and Vian Mulder. And then in the seamer department, you've got Nandre Berger, Lungingiri, Kagisarbada. And recently, Quina Mapaka has been added to the squad. So a very exciting squad. Very, very happy with the squad. But now it's again the discussions start. Because I want to try to understand here what the thinking is from Coach Shukri by adding Matthew Bretsky and Tony De Zorzi into the mix here. Showing the confidence that he's shown in Luandre and Dierwald. It's clear to see, right? And in the T20s, he trusted both players and started them every game. Is he going to be looking at them for 2027 is the question. Because if that is the case, then he needs to start them. But then it comes to question why Tony and why Matthew. Now, I'm a fan of both Matthew and Tony, and I do believe that they have great ability in them that needs to be unlocked. And we haven't yet seen the best of them in this format and for the Proteas consistently enough. So I do think that if Coach Shukri believes that Matthew Bretsky and Tony De Zorzi is the future for that 2027 World Cup, he needs to play both of them. And then Deva Brevis and Luandre Pretorius, he needs to decide if he's going to rotate and give one a chance and one another, and the other one not. Because they have 8 batters over here, which is a little bit of the issue. You've got a lot of batters that you need to rotate then for a top 6. So I'm very interested to see what his mentality is and what direction he wants to go. Because that is going to be the interesting factor when it comes to the ODI setup. So we know already that Ryan Rickleton and Aiden Markram are his openers. So that already tells us that Themba Bavuma is going to bat at 3 or 4. So then who does he go with at 4 or 3? Does he take Tristan Stubbs and make him a 3 because he's done that in Test cricket? Does he decide to go with the likes of Luandre or Deva Brevis in that 4? And then fill out the rest of the positions. Those are all questions I have about the squad now. Because Tony De Zorzi is an opener or number 3. And so is Matthew Bretsky. So, given that we already know with that Aiden Markram and Ryan Rickleton are his openers, it makes those 2 selections a little bit puzzling, even though I do believe that they deserve opportunities. So I'm juggling that. The rest of the teams, you can just rotate, really. I think the rest of the team, this fills out basically itself. You can rotate those bowlers. You can give one player chances, other players opportunities. I'm happy with that, with the bowling department and all-round department. So that's the only real question I have with regards to that. I am a bit shocked though. Sorry, go back to T20s. I am a bit shocked that George Linder didn't get more opportunities either. But let's not go into that. That's a little bit of a hectic one. So for me personally, I would obviously like to see Luandre and Dewald and see what they can do. I'm giving them the first match. If they do score runs, then I think the last two matches you can go with Matthew and then Tony. Give them both opportunities as well. So, but Tristan needs to play definitely because he needs to get himself back into good form again. We know Ryan's going to play. We know Temba's going to play. We know Aiden's going to play. It's just then about those other positions now. Who's he going to fill it up? And I think Deva Brevis is going to be trusted first. And then I think that with regards to getting opportunities, if anybody does, and then I think Luandre might get the opportunity or not. So we're going to have to see what Coach Shukri does in this particular match. Because he is an opening batter, and we know that that's the case. So maybe he's just playing as backup to Ryan or Ryan in this particular match, or Aiden, or particularly Ryan. So, yeah, let's listen to what Timba had to say in his pre-match presser ahead of this match. That maybe will give us an indication. Maybe he drops the team. Sorry, this is not what I wanted to do. I don't know why it's playing there. I wanted to play in this window.
Hi, Timber. Welcome to Australia. You haven't played since the World Test Championship final. How have you spent the last couple of months?
Yeah, it's been a bit busy back home. Kind of just getting accustomed, I guess, to all the appreciation and how, I guess, things have been a bit different. Also had some time to just be away from the game, get the body strong again. But yeah, raring to go. Looking forward to the games ahead. Always good to be in Australia again. So yeah, quite looking forward to the next couple of days.
The hamstring back to full fitness?
Yeah, it feels good. I guess it's a case of just keep looking after it. A lot more rehab than I usually do. But yeah, everything feels good.
What have you made of what the T20 sides put up so far? Obviously, they didn't get the win in the series, but have you been pleased with what you've seen out of them?
Yeah, exciting. I think it's always exciting when you see the young faces. Obviously, the big talk, a guy like Brevis, putting up his hand and showing what he's capable of. So, again, excited to see what he can also bring within the one day stuff. And all the other guys, guy like Quena who's been added to the squad. Faces like Wandre Pretorius, getting to understand them a bit better as people. Subrayan as well, he comes into the squad as well. So I think a lot of it similar to the T20 stuff, a bit of an exploration to see where the guys can really fit in, but more importantly, what our best looking 11 is.
So that's a bit confusing to me because that's a little bit contradicting. So he said he's going to do a little bit of exploration to see what guys can do, but then also trying to find out what their best 11 is. So that's a little bit of a contradiction to me because how do you do both? You either decide, because you can't just give a player one game. I feel that the full series is the right way to go with it. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen there.
What does the team kind of relayed to you as far as the conditions are concerned?
So here specifically, the guys say the wicket is a little bit more on the slower side. But again, I think like everything, we just try to adapt. We just try to assess and adapt on the day and try to play the best cricket that is required for those conditions. I had a look at the wicket. I had a look at the field, a bit bigger than what I'm accustomed to. So probably a lot of running from my side. But yeah, it looked like a good wicket out there. Good game of cricket in that last T20 game.
You obviously played a lot against Australia, most recently in that WCC final. Do you enjoy coming down here and getting the chance to play in Australia?
Yeah. We've never been to this part of the world, so nice to get to explore a different part of Australia. Obviously, the clash in itself is not much that one needs to say there. It's always going to be a competitive one. It's always one that the guys are going to be motivated for. So yeah, like I said at the beginning, looking forward to that and what it has for us.
Are you going to be opening in December?
No, I won't be opening. Go with a different pair at the top. Aiden as well as Rickleton. They'll continue there at the top. I guess that's the partnership that we're looking to go with, probably in all the different formats. So we'll give that one a chance and see how it goes. I'll probably I'll slot in at number three. I don't think it's a really much of a change from my side, but I'll try and make whatever adjustments that I need there.
Okay, so confirmation there.
And Dion, is he likely to make the starting 11? Or?
We haven't finalized the 11. But we'll be at practice obviously today. Have a look at the wicket. But yeah, can't give you a final 11 now.
Because that Champions Trophy match was washed out, the last time you actually played Australia in this format was the World Cup semi-final. Does that seem like yesterday, or does that seem like ages ago?
Jeez, that seems very far. Yeah, that seems very far. Very far, very far.
Okay.
Very far.
What's it been like being in Cairns, playing a game in Australia in the middle of winter? Is that something you sort of do you want this year in Australian series, or would you rather share around the world?
But different. I think my experience of playing in Australia this time of the year is in our A series. That's a couple of years ago. I think my last one was 2015 or 2016. So quite different. The weather is good, a little bit better than what it is there in Johannesburg. But yeah, I think just being Australia again, opportunity again to compete with the guys. I think that's the biggest thing. Hopefully we're able to play our best cricket out there.
Okay, so that's Timber, short and sweet, nothing much spectacular there. I think the biggest takeaways from that particular presser or little interview what they did, I think the biggest thing about that was that he's going to bat at 3. He's confirmed that now. I thought maybe perhaps 4 and then give Brzezinski like a number 3 position, or Tony the number 3 position, or something like that. But it seems like South Africa's they're going to decide now who's going to bat 4. That who's going to bat at 4 will determine a lot of things. Because Tony DeZorzi is an opener or number 3 batter. I don't see him lower down. Brzezinski similarly. 1, 2, 3. And I feel that Brzezinski can bat at 4 as well. So this is going to be very, very interesting on what way Coach Shukri goes. Because are we going to look for our next number 4 and then play like a Deva Brevis at 4? If Coach Shukri maybe sees him as the number 4. Or does he believe that Thurston Stubbs is our number 4? And then you can play a Brzezinski at 5. So, I mean, a Brevis at 5 for now, as he gets familiar with this format for the Proteas. So there's a lot of options. There's a lot of decisions that have to be made. But when Coach Shukri makes that first 15, so I think our review show tomorrow will probably be very interesting because that will tell us a lot about the team and about the situation. So we're going to have to wait for that. And I'm struggling myself to think about that as well, to think how would he want to line up? Because for me, the understanding would be to give our next number 4 that we believe is going to be the number 4 for the 2027 World Cup, the opportunities to play every single match. And then 5 and 6 can be can be experiments in a way for us, because this particular squad here, there aren't any like designated finishers per se that I look at and I'm like, wow, this guy is like a finisher for South Africa. So I don't know if he's maybe going to operate with having like a young 5 and 6, like having Pretorius at 5 and maybe or having a Brevis at 5 and then having a 6 being like someone like Deva Brevis who can just go out there and express himself fully. So I don't know how this is going to pan out, because there's no like designated finisher here, I feel, unless he looks at Tristan Stubbs as a finisher. But me personally, I think Tristan Stubbs must bet high up the order. So there's a lot of questions about the ODI squad, guys, that needs to be answered. Let me just get into some of your live chat and see what you guys have had to say. Sarah says, to be honest, I'm not convinced with Rickleton. If he doesn't perform, he should be shown the exit. Interesting. Sam says Luandre should bat at 4 in ODIs, Brevis at 5. Sarah says Stubbs needs to get his confidence back. I believe that. Indra says, hi, Joseph van Heerden. Okay. Justin says, no, I'll rotate Rickleton and Luandre. Okay, interesting. Sam says, what Tony has done ever to get picked in a squad. He's done a lot to get picked into a squad. Come on, don't disrespect him like that. Anurag says, any idea why Jason Smith is not considered? He's played only 3 games, but has an average of 44. I don't know, because Jason Smith is supposed to be an all-rounder. Ultimately, he's supposed to bowl and bat. He's focused more on his batting in recent times because Kingsmead doesn't really suit his bowling. So maybe does Coach Shukri still see him as an all-rounder, and it's maybe doesn't think that he's the best bowling, the best all-rounder to pick. He looks at Vian Mulder more in that position. So that's maybe perhaps, I think maybe he sees Vian Mulder. I forgot about Vian Mulder. Maybe he's going to bat Vian Mulder at 6 perhaps, or 5. That could also be an option. Sarah says, Lungi and Mutasami really don't deserve to be in the squad. What do you think, bro? I don't agree. Lungi, perhaps there's a question marks over him and because of his recent fitness, but I believe that we need to get Lungi fit again. Let him play so that he can get fit. So we have him as an option, because I think that when he is fit, he's very dangerous. His slow deliveries are brilliant. Very important for these white ball formats. So I think that Mutasami, I liked what I saw from Mutasami in the T20s. And I hope that he can maybe, like, I see Mutasami as a future replacement possibly for Keshav Maharaj. Just with a better ability with the bat, kind of. If Senaran can just get his batting more consistent and more compact, and learn the cricket smarts that Keshav Maharaj has, that makes Keshav such a brilliant bowler, we could have the next, like, a replacement for Keshav. He might not ever reach Keshav's height, but maybe he can, if with the right work and help. Justin says Rickleton can rest for a game and Luandre comes in. But why rest Rickleton if they've all rested after the World Test Championship? I don't think they need to rest. I think we need to, because it's a new partnership, I think Rickleton and Aiden need to start building an understanding and a connection. They need to play as many games as possible. If they're going to be the openers for South Africa, I don't feel that they should be skipping games. I think they should be playing as much as they can together. Anurag says Linda should be getting a chance in 50 over as well. Tex says, don't know why Shukri picked Tony. Justin says Brevis at 4. Sam says his 11 would be Ryan, Aiden, Temba, Luandre at 3. Luandre at 4. Brevis at 5. Stubbs at 6. Mulder at 7. Keshav, KG, Lungi, and Nandre. Justin says Luandre is not a middle order batter, people. Yeah. Tabo says Tony and Stubbs are out of form. After Brevis, there's no power hitting, and I'm concerned. Klaassen's retirement has left a big hole to fill, even though Muller will be back. But I don't know that for T20s. Yeah. Sarath says, I don't know for ODIs if Muller's going to play in 2027. I don't know. Sarah says Rickleton, Markram, Bavuma, Luandre, Brevis, Stubbs, Mulder, Bosch, Maharaj, Rabada, Berger. If Rickleton first performed, then Brzezinski. Sam says what the reality is that when it comes to get biased with own spot, always goes to Aiden Markram. He never gets perfect position. Always he adjusts himself for other players to fill in. But Coach Shukri believes that his best position is an opener. He's not shifting around for other players here. Coach Shukri is playing Aiden in his best position and what he believes his best position is. Tabo says Brzezinski has done well so far, so why should he be dropped for Tony? Justin says, why everyone want Luandre to play? I think Brzezinski is far better. Brzezinski is slightly ahead of Luandre at the moment. Tabo says, if Pretorius plays, it should be as an opener. I don't like him in the middle order. He should play as an opener. He's best in the power play. Tabo says, Temba's strike rate is an issue, to be honest. Sam says he has to good in tests, as in middle order. 50 over will also suit him in the middle order, so lefty Luandre. In my time says, I hope Stubbs should get number 4 permanently. Craig says if Brevis plays at 4 and does well, we are in for a hell of a ride these next few years. Very true. Texas Bro Khalid, I think Theobald is right now one of the hottest properties in the world cricket right now. He is really becoming a brand. Lodrick says Mulder should be at 4, 5, and 6. Stubbs and Brevis. Okay. Sam says Luandre will be perfect for number 4. ODI's lefty in the middle will put left arm spinner out of the game mostly. Justin says Brevis is way too good to be seen as a finisher. I agree. Tabo says Brevis will bat at 4. He has shown that he is a good against spin, and we need that in the middle order. There's too many top order batters in the squad, and I believe Calvareno should have been there. Interesting choice. Evil Jabawaki 1605 says, or 1605 says, Brzezinski, Luandre, Rickelton, Bavuma, Markram, Stubbs, Brevis, Bosch, Linda, Rabada, and Ngidi. Sarah says, bro, not Mutasami, please. He lacks confidence and there is no intensity from him. His bowling is poor, too many short balls, and batting is below par and not reliable. Linda, any time. Sam says, but Mutasami was just in the last T20, just bowling leg side. Yeah, I think he needs to. There's a lot for him to still develop. There's still space for him to learn and develop and to become that type of player. I think that there's a player in there that needs to be unleashed. Dex says, bro, Khalid, why we keep losing in the last over? Um, that game could have gone either way, I think, personally. So it is frustrating that we lose in the last over, but I would rather lose in the last over than get completely punished. So because it's showing that we are progressing and we're getting close. Daksh says, Khalid, we have to concerning seeing that we have only won one series in the last 10 series in T20 format. We can't slip games from winning positions. Look here, we need to reset that button as a new coach comes in. And then we start judging the coach from his first game. So we've lost 2 games now out of 2 series out of 2. And we need to improve. We've won games in between, though, against good sides as well. So we need to find a way on how to improve and to keep the momentum going. And the wins will start to come. Dakshi's Markram hasn't a 50 in T20 format since 3 years. Last 50 came against India at Perth, in which SA won. Daksh says Rasi is very crucial Proteas setup. Donovan Ferreira flops whenever he gets a chance in the Proteas. Sarah says KG bats way better than most of the top order guys. Intent matters. His batting style reminds me of Gale and like his confidence. Daksh we always dominated us is in ODI format. Hopefully we do again. Daksh we have to add quality in our setup. Mutasami isn't have control. Linda and Shamsi is a must. Don't know where Shamsi is at the moment. Waka says we didn't lose the game in the last over, but KG is over. Kind of true. Justin Khalid, what's your ODI 11? Justin, why do you have to ask me that? I was trying to skip that question. Yes. Oh God, you put pressure on me. It's a hard one for me to decide. Okay, so obviously Aiden and Ryan and Timbas, top 3. I'm gonna go with Stubbs at 4. Okay, wait. For this opening match, I'm gonna go with Brzezinski at 4. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Brzezinski at 4. And then I'm gonna go with Stubbs at 5. And I'm gonna go with Dewald at 6. Let him spin as well, but then at 7, I'm gonna go with what's a slower wicket. So I'm gonna go with Vian at 7. I'm gonna go with KG at 8, or maybe Keshaf at 8. KG at 9. Nandre at 10. and Lungi at 11. I'll go with that. Or I'll swap out Lungi for Corbin so that we have a longer batting order. So I think that will be my lineup. So Aiden Markram, Ryan Rickleton, Temba Bavuma, Matthew Bretsky, Tristan Stubbs, Deva Brevis, Vian Mulder, Corbin Bosch, Olungi Ngidi lower down, Keshav Maharaj, KG Rabada, and then Lungi. And then Nandre Burger, sorry. So it's between, for me, because I want to see Nandre play more games as a left-arm seamer in this team. For me, it will be between either deciding to go with the extra all-rounder in Corbin or Lungi Ngidi. So that's my squad. Okay, guys, thanks a lot for you. Thanks a lot for you. What am I saying? Thanks a lot for joining the show and being patient with me. And I hope you enjoyed the episode. Don't forget to smash the like button, comment, share, and subscribe as well, and click that notification bell for all future videos. Please, very important that you guys do so. I'd also like you guys to please comment in the comment section after we've ended the stream. Very important that you do so for the momentum of the channel's growth, as well as us getting into recommended feeds. So please comment in the comment section below. I'd also like you guys to please join me tomorrow on the review show directly after the match. We'll be going live. Perhaps I can delay it till 6:30, like I did tonight, and do the review at 6:30 for more of you guys to be able to join. So I normally do a little video on TikTok directly after, if you want to see my out of the game reaction, basically, or after the game reaction. And then live, I'll go on the show a little bit later at night. I don't know if you guys like it that way. You can let me know, but I think for tomorrow, I'll probably go a little bit later. I'll do 6:30 show tomorrow so that more of you guys can join, because after work and all of that, you want to discuss the game. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you again tomorrow with another review show. Stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your evening.